Hi, welcome to my 4 months in review of my Plum Paper Designs planner. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in, show you how well this sucker's held up over the last 4 months. As you can tell, my binding is still really well. This binding has not at all, the coil hasn't bent like I thought it would. And I abuse this sucker. It's in and out of my purse. It gets tossed around. I'll leave it on the table and get my 5-year-old to bring it to me. This is about the worst damage I've suffered. I've got a little bit of discoloration, a little bit of bend, but all in all, it is holding up surprisingly well. Like I said, just a little bit of wear and tear. When you first open it up on the first page, I have a frequency chart. I run the soundboard at my church, or I help run it. I should say I have an amazing mentor there. But I use this on a weekly basis to set my frequency, so it's got to be up front and predominant. Then I have on the title page, I use this a little uniquely. I've been keeping track of my husband's days at home for tax purposes, and it's April and he's been home for 14 days. Kind of depressing. The year at a glance I don't really use. I've got to admit that. I use my phone, I use the computer. This is the 3rd time I've looked at this in 4 months. Then on the back page of that, I've got, for my book blog, for loveandbooks.com, my review outline that I just like to keep handy to remember. Now I'm going to start with January to show you how I've changed. January, I used the note page a lot. I kept my monthly goals, which I didn't do so hot. I kept notes. I used it. I also used the month at a glance quite a bit. I made notes. I used it color coordinated. I thought I was going to be so organized. And let's find a typical January. Ooh, that's not a very good week. Here's a good week. I made notes. I took notes of things. I stuck in little Post-its. I was so organized, or so I thought. That didn't work for me. And in fact, in February, I'm trying to get there. Oh, I guess I did use it, and I was still doing kind of that same thing, but it wasn't working for me, at least not in the way that I really wanted it to. So let's jump up to April. I'm not using the notes. I found I never looked at that. I do stick sticky notes and little things that my daughter finds, little treasures, but not a whole lot there. My month at a glance, I don't really use much. I do use it for, I went through and wrote my Girl Scout days, because I'm a Girl Scout leader, when I first got the planner, but otherwise I don't do that. I do have MOPS dinners, because I lead my local MOPS group, and I need to know when those are way in advance. I do birthdays, and I do book releases, either of books that I am really looking forward to, like The Geography of You and Me, or I do my review books, and I always write where I got it, NetGalley or Edelweiss or the publisher. I don't have any publisher books this month, but at least none that I wrote on here. I keep track of where I'm at by this little paper clip from the scrapbooking section at, I believe this one was at Michael's, I don't know. I've got so many of them. And here is what I use, what works for me. Let's go back here really quick to show you this. These pages do bleed with my highlighters. I use the Bic Bright Liner, and they do bleed. That's the downside. And you can see it here again, the bleed through. I just ignore it. It doesn't bug me too much. I've debated going to washi tape, but I really just like what I've got going here. So let's look at my week at a glance. We'll break it down. I highlight, and the highlights are color coordinated. Pink is my daughter, orange is myself, green is Girl Scouts, blue is either my husband or the whole family, and yellow, which is not on here, is school things out of the norm, since we homeschool. Then let's go in here. I don't really pay much attention to this. The weekly list I fill in as I go. Say tomorrow my Girl Scout co-leader will call me and say, hey, I need you to pick this up at the grocery store. I'll write that on my list. Or it's just kind of as I go. Some weeks I fill it in pretty full. Some weeks I don't. Last week I didn't even use it at all. In the notes section, I do, this week I have a Bible verse I'm working on memorizing. Last week I had to look up the date for my husband's family reunion. Just kind of whatever. And then let's come up here. I do use the morning, afternoon, and evening portions. I didn't think I would, but I really do. And my weeks are kind of crazy, so it really works for me. It works great. This week I don't have my weekend filled in because it's Easter weekend and I'm the sound tech at church, so I'm just there all weekend. And I'm kind of waiting to hopefully find out my schedule for that tomorrow. But as you can tell, I've got it highlighted as I go. Wednesday evenings are nuts for us. I've just got to be more places than I can be. But it works really, really well for me to highlight this. I can just glance at it and know what I'm doing. I'm not very fancy. I'm not very, I don't know. I'm organized, and that works for me. And then I'm going to flip here to the back. I also don't plan out in advance. Let me go back to that page. Sorry to skip around here. I don't plan in advance. Oh dear, I'll fix that. Next week is not going to be much different from this week. So Sunday night I will sit down and fill in next week and pretty much just transfer everything over. The other thing I didn't mention, my checklist is my meal planning. I meal plan down there. This week we're only home Monday and Tuesday night. Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night we always eat at church, and Sunday night we've got something going on. But those nights I'm eating with friends, I'm eating out, so I don't have that meal planned. So this week is a bad example week. And we'll jump to the back here. Eek. I've got the addresses. I've only got one in there. I'm bad. The holidays, I don't really use either. I rely on Facebook and my friends to tell me. I'm really kind of bad that way. And my For Keeps folder is jam-packed. I've got my doctor's bills. I've got notes I took on projects I'm working on. I've got my cute little hockey star outside practicing her puck skills with her stick. And that is pretty much it for my planner. I am so in love with this thing. I'm already drooling over next year's. I can't decide what I want, but I have officially decided I'm sticking with Plum paper. And I will have all of my notes down in the bottom and on the blog so that you can find affiliate links, you can find other review links, you can find my original review from when it was brand spanking new to compare how great it still looks. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.